Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another awesome episode, if I do say so myself, of the Lifeonaire Show podcast. I'm Jason Wojo, your host, and we got Polish Peter on the line. Dude, we're a couple weeks, we're almost a month into 2026 already, dude. I cannot believe it. Like, think about that. We're almost like a 12th of the way done of the year, literally already.
You know what just popped into my head? So a few weeks ago, I was talking to somebody else. Remember the movie Back to the Future when he actually goes into the future? Do you remember
where's my
what year that
skateboard?
was? You know the year that was when he went to the future? If I remember correctly, I think it was like 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm going to look it up now while you're talking.
But think about this. We are way past of the movie Back to the Future. So I am a little miffed about the fact that there was no hoverboards. They kind of have it, I guess, somewhere for some people, but were the hoverboards, were those flying cars? And well, they started doing the flying cars, but that's how far we're at into this whole conversation. So if you were listening to this thing and you actually watched Back to the Future where it was released, you're welcome for making you feel old, okay?
So, dude, this says, I'm looking up online right now, it says he went back to 2015, bro.
Okay, 15. All right.
And it was filmed in 85.
Yeah.
What?
So that's fun, right?
Dude.
Okay. How old do you feel now, Wojo?
Hold on. What year? So, dude, this is like literally, 41 years? Is that right? Is my math right? 41 years
Don't
ago?
ask me. So, yeah, it's very long time ago.
It's 41 years ago. That's rocking my world right now.
All right. Talk about Squirrel World. All right. So let's get back into this conversation of the New Year's resolution.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, man. So we're in the new year. You probably had set some resolutions. Maybe you didn't. And I was thinking about this more and more, man. I don't have anything against New Year's resolutions because I think there's something beautiful about it. Like there's something beautiful about a fresh reset and people having a renewed sense of motivation and inspiration and seeing things for themselves, perhaps that like they've given up on in that previous year, got messy, it got dirty, they got bogged down, whatever happened, right? But in a new year, there's like a reset button. We have the opportunity to hit a reset. Now, in real life, of course, we can hit a reset every minute if we want to. But, it's just a very symbolic kind of period of time that I think is amazing. And yet at the same time, it feels a little aspirational for people while also lacking some of the strategic and tactical requirements of making these things come true. Because my guess is that even before the New Year's resolution period was here, you probably still wanted to do these things. You probably still thought of doing these things. Hey, I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to start doing that. Like you had those thoughts. But just because the period of time came and maybe there's a short-term burst of motivation or inspiration, that may not be enough to carry you across the finish line. And it may not be enough to sustain those goals until you have achieved them. And so like there's a beautiful piece of it, but there's also pieces missing. And this is why so many people fail with New Year's resolutions. I think I saw the stat that only 8% of people make it past February, or maybe it's 12, somewhere very, very dismally low, that people really just, they fall off the wagon.
Right. So did you finally decide to do New Year's resolution to start?
Yeah, I'm going to grow hair this year. I decided.
About time. Where it go, man? Dude, I believe in you, Wojo.
Thanks,
you can
bro.
do this. All right?
Dude, I would, but I'd look like, like Walton Goggins? Is that his name? Like the hairline's like way up here. Like I have here, bro. Look, that is here. That is here.
Hold on. Let me give a that with magnifying glass. Hold on. Let me see. Is that magnifying?
Dude, that's just because you have bad vision. You're old. But like, dude, no, I don't really have any this year, man. Like, do you?
Not really. So here's the thing, man, because one of the things that I find when New Year's resolutions is this conversation that we a lot of times have at the events when it's like, I'll start on Monday. I think that's part of that New Year's resolution is just the time period is longer, right? What I mean by I start on Monday is like, think about when you want to go on diet and it's, let's say it's Friday afternoon and you're like, oh, I got to lose some weight. I got to let go of some of the weight. And you're talking about this and here comes the weekend. I'll start on Monday. Right? And then Monday comes and maybe you do your diet thing. Tuesday comes and you now eat the pizza or whatever it might be. and now you quote unquote failed. And on what do you say? Well, I'll start on Monday, right? And I think it's that kind of a thinking mind kind of a thinking that doesn't allow you to actually take full 100% responsibility ownership of that thing that you want to do. So I think that's one thing that needs to happen. You take 100% responsibility and ownership over this. Now, what does that mean? That means I think that you don't do it because somebody else says that you should do it. You know that within yourself that this is what you truly want to do. It's for you and you want to do it. And it's super duper important for you to be able to do it. So the one thing that's going to be, whatever that goal is, you're going to have to put a strong why behind it. And I think that's a big missing for a lot of people. They do not provide for themselves, create a strong why am I doing this? And that why has to be emotional. It can't be logical. And most people just, well, because I am overweight and I'm going to get diabetes, or there's a possibility of heart attack and whatever it might be, right? Because most of the time it doesn't hit you. But when you start creating emotional, strong why behind it, that literally hits you like in your heart, all of a sudden you have this quote unquote fuel that gets you going. I think that's one important aspect. Now, do you want to add anything to that particular that piece?
Yeah, dude, I think that's really, really important. Like this, it can't just be like yeah, I'd like to. Like, so I'll give it, for instance, like something, dude, this is embarrassing. But one of the things I've had on my list for honestly like a couple of years now that I have not mastered yet is like whistling really loud with my fingers. And so like, dude, it's something stupid that I want to do. Like I just want to be able to do it. I want to be able to do it.
Next event, I'll teach you.
Bro, okay. So so for instance, I would try, like, for instance, I'll be sitting there and I'll try like 20 times until my like face is blue and I feel out of breath and I'm going to pass out, but then I won't try it again for another week. If I really wanted to do that, let's say that this was like a mission critical skill that I had to learn, I could probably learn it in a day, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? So like for me, it's kind of like a would be nice, but it's just a little fun thing, like, because it doesn't have real significance to my life. But if it did, like, then perhaps it would be more of a why, right?
So why do you want to learn how to whistle?
Because it's something I got to tell you, like, a large part of my life has just been like trying to do things just to see if I can do them. Okay. Like, I just love learning new stuff and seeing if I can do it. Like, dude, a part of the reason I got my PhD was just to see if I could do it. Like, can I actually pull this off?
All right. Okay. That's why you ended up with like 15 of them?
Yeah. Right. Let's see if I can do it again.
That's right. That must have been a fluke. Okay?
Was that, yeah. Like,
no, so yeah, I think, so yeah, the strong why I think is really important.
Yeah.
And no, sometimes think about it this way. Even if you just want to see if you want to know if you can do it, I think it's still important to have that why. Create something for yourself. So it pushes you, like pulls you, right? Maybe it's some kind of a reward. Think about it. The other thing that people don't do when setting up these goals is, what's the cost that will come if you don't do it? Because sometimes people look for the reward, which is good, right? Because some people are reward driven, but a lot of times there is no real cost that will come if you don't get this done, if you don't hit that goal. And I think that's where the why kind of there is a, whether it's the cost or it's the, price or profit that comes with it, that has to be with that why, I think, also attached to it. But I think that's another aspect that people don't put on paper. Like, what's it going to cost me if I don't go to the gym? Because I keep saying that I want to go to the gym and want to work out and I'll let go of 20 pounds. But what's the real cost that hits me emotionally?
Yeah, that's strong, man. Dude, I think, tell me what you think of this. I think the number one reason most people don't hit their goal is they want it to be perfect. Like, they, instead of looking at it like, and they beat themselves up when it's all or nothing. Like, it's kind of like, hey, it's not only putting off like when you screw it up to some future date, but like, it's also like you feel like a failure. If you say you're going to go to the gym 3 days a week, 5 days a week, but you only make it once, you feel bad about it and you beat yourself up about it and you consider it a failure. and that gets you depressed and you feel like a loser and you're like, I can't stick with anything. And then you give up. Instead, what if you just made it, okay, that's better than nothing. Like, I feel like we just look for this perfection and it has to be perfect. And we're going to eat broccoli and chicken breast. And the second we have a bite of pizza, we give up because we feel like we screwed it up. And what's the point? And like, I'm a loser. And like, we just trash talk ourselves. And we like, just instead of reframing what success is, success is one step better. Success is not reaching the mountaintop. The mountaintop is the result of the successes along the way. It's the steps. Like, just take one step. It's working out for 10 minutes. I only worked out for 10 minutes. I only read 3 pages of a book. I only texted one person. Like, whatever it is, like, it's progress. Like, it's progress. And as you define progress is success, the inevitable outcome that you're looking for will be at the end of that rainbow. But you just gotta just small steps, and don't beat yourself up. Like, it is what it is. It's just like, can you do better? Yeah, maybe. But just encourage yourself along the way and be a friend, be an advocate. Don't be like the squawking voice in the back of your head that's just telling you suck and you're a loser and you can never do it. And I told you so. Like, you tried this before, you failed before, you're gonna fail again. Like, get rid of that person, get rid of that voice.
That's what happens for you when you try to whistle, isn't it? I'm not gonna let go of this, by the way. I'm just gonna keep.
Okay, see, this is where we're gonna have a different podcast episode on who you should tell certain things to, right?
No, I'm busting your chops, dude. It's all good, man. We'll get this, Wojo. Don't worry, buddy. We'll get this, bro. Okay? You're gonna be whistling.
Listen. Good point.
You're gonna be whistling till the cows come home, okay?
How about this, bro? I know you weren't clever enough to think this through, but I caught it.
What?
Get the people in your corner that can help you develop the habit and develop the skill.
I was gonna get there, but
you were not. Yeah. Dude, no, you weren't. I caught.
So listen. So on the serious side of things, yes, the perfection I think is a big part of this. One of the things I want to add to that is think about it this way: if you, let's say, about going to the gym. And you go today and you go tomorrow, and then the next day you don't go, but the day after that you do go, then guess what? Even the fact that you didn't go, that's still now a win. It's a big success because guess what? That falling off that horse for that one day didn't completely stop you in the tracks. So that failure actually ended up being a big win for you so notice how you look at some of those things matters. So the perfection that he talks about, I want you to consider that you have to give yourself sometimes some grace and you have to keep moving forward, one step, whatever it might be, okay? The other thing I want you, so you just mentioned, put people in the corner that are going to be cheerleaders for you. They're going to be supporting you. They're going to be there for you. I think it's really important. On that note, one thing I would say is this. Depending on what kind of a person you are, okay? So let's say you are someone who likes to connection with other people, likes to hang out with other people, doesn't like doing stuff by themselves, right? And someone who likes routine and they have everything organized, in their house, and they have everything that's got its place and they know exactly what they're doing throughout the day. So they're very kind of like a regimented kind of a person. So let's say it's those two things. And now I tell you, and you find on the internet that you go to the gym at whatever time and you got 14 different machines that you're going to work out on, and you got 14 different workouts, and you're going there by yourselves, guess what? It's not going to last very long because what you love, that connection, being there with somebody else or having this routine is not going to be able to stick very well because it's kind of not part of who you are. So get a friend or join a kind of a group workout, like a Zumba or whatever they do in today's world, right? If you like that routine, stick with 1 or 2 exercises to start off with, or the same machine, or whatever it might be to help you get that routine into making it a habit. Because I think most people don't do that way, okay? The other thing is, I think plays a huge role, and we haven't talked about that yet, is your belief system. Because think about it this way. if you, let's say, we keep bringing up this whole idea of letting go of the weight. If you want to let go of 20 pounds or 30 pounds or whatever it might be, and deep down inside, you believe that that's just how I am. It's part of my genetics. I'll never be able to let go of that weight. And this is just, I've tried 20,000 different times. It never worked, and it's probably never going to work. And that's your belief system. Then guess what? That belief system is going to end up winning that war, basically, because you're going to go to the gym for 2-3 days or for a month, and you're not going to see that results that you were hoping to see. And then you're going to be like, see, I knew it's not going to work. That's just how I am. That's just what it is. And the belief system starts to take over. So I think it's really important for you to examine what are the beliefs that will help me get this goal achieved that I might have or I don't have, or what are the beliefs that are going to get in the way, that are going to keep me away from reaching that goal. And when you start to examine it, you're going to have to reframe some of those beliefs. So you're like going to the gym and making things happen and, whatever it might be.
Well, I think there's in tandem with that, man, I may also recommend that people, like, if you approach life as a scientist, right? And maybe this is my all these degrees coming out, and you see people that go to the gym and they are in better shape than you, there is a very high likelihood that going to the gym will result in you being in better shape as well, versus not going at all. And so there is an experimental or a researcher-based perspective where if you look at people that are doing certain things and you draw the correlation between their results and where you want to be, I would also suggest that while you're working on your beliefs, you also take a step of faith in that these are the actions that are likely to lead to this result. And if I just stick with it enough, those behaviors will eventually start to give you some results that may help you accelerate the changing of the beliefs. Meaning, like, listen, is it unreasonable that if I go to the gym 5 days a week, in 6 months, I won't see any difference? It probably is unreasonable, because you probably will see a difference. And if you see some difference, now I'm not saying the difference is going to come as quickly as you want, but I am saying you will be different. It's unavoidable. It's physiology, right? And so that may also jumpstart and support the beliefs that you tell yourself you want to have, or the ones that you know will be more helpful than hurtful. And so, because at some point I don't think you can just kind of tell yourself these things without evidence. Otherwise, you're like, your brain's like, dude, like people that are like, I'm successful, I'm this, I'm like, dude, I don't know, like.
Right, but here's the problem: most people don't sustain 6 months, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's where you got to have the faith that, or maybe it is a belief, but the belief isn't in themselves. The belief is in, like, if I do these things, there's enough evidence that other people can get these results, that I'm going to put my faith in that. I'm going to commit. And maybe this is a good point too. Maybe because it's very hard, and this is one of the reasons why it's hard for people to stay in shape. We're just picking on this because it's a common resolution. The challenge with getting in shape is there is no finish line. Like, once you stop working out, you will go back to whatever shape you were.
Fluffy.
You're gonna get, yeah. And so that's what makes it so hard. But if you commit, if you have the belief that, gosh, if I dedicate hard, go hard, be consistent for 6 months, that will be my finish line. And if I see a difference, now maybe that's enough to motivate me for the next 6 months. And this is why, for instance, like, dude, when I have a contest and I'm getting on stage, there's nothing that takes me off of that path. Like, and I am like a robot executing a program, because, like, I know that is in reality for me. And so maybe, we're kind of maybe tapping on something a little bit adjacently here, but like having these term or the timeline-based goals in conjunction with the belief that this will have the effect, could be like more of it's more multidimensional in helping you make that lasting change.
Yeah. So, I mean, think about it this way, and you gotta be truthful with yourself. I think that's also a really important aspect of it. And what I mean by that is, like, very well if you're going to the gym, whether or not you're working out or not. You know what I mean? You yourself, like, kind of thing. Like you mentioned, like, I've been going to 6 months to a gym. Well, I can show up in the gym and look around and walk around, but never actually work out. Then it's not going to make any difference, right? So you need to know for yourself whether or not you're attacking and actually going after this goal. So I think it's a really, what we just talked about, I think is really important. The other thing that I want to mention too, because I think this podcast, I don't want to go too long into it, is this idea that most of the time what we do when it comes to, because think about it this way, that goal, whatever it might be, I think one of the big goals for you is to actually ultimately make it a habit. Because if you can make it a habit, then you know it sticks, right? Just like brushing your teeth, right? So at one point in your life, when you were very little, you probably hated brushing your teeth. Now, you probably, hopefully, are brushing your teeth every day, twice a day, or whatever the time is, to be able to go and keep that habit going. But what ends up happening, if you really think about this, what you did inadvertently, probably, not consciously, because that's been established for a very long time, is you went and anchored that new habit into something that you're already doing. So let's say you get out of a shower, you dry off, and the next thing you do is you brush your teeth. Think about it. Every single one of us has this routine. So what I would encourage you, the listener, to do is whatever the habit that you're trying to put in place, whether it's going to the gym, you anchor it to something that you're already doing previously on a regular basis. So that will be the natural kind of a next thing that you end up doing. Like when I used to start learning how to go to the gym, and me and you had this conversation way back in the day, right? My day was finishing up after I was dropping my kids off, picking up my kids up from school. So it was, around 3 o'clock or so, I started picking up my kids, drop them off at their mom's house. And then that was my anchor that I created in my mind. Then instead of going home, I'm driving to the gym. So now, in order for that to happen, I had to have workout clothes on, right? So then I anchor that to something before I used to literally put my gym clothes in front of my front door so that I don't open the front door without putting the workout clothes on. Or I would put them up in the morning and I would walk around the whole day in my, when I was working in gym clothes. Whatever it might be, I would hack, quote unquote, myself to make sure that this happens. So you got to anchor something that you're already doing. Hope that makes sense. I think that's a nice little thing that helps people, getting this thing into the rhythm of life.
Yep. That's really valuable, man. James Clear talks a little about habit stacking in Atomic Habits. And so it's kind of, similar. And, Tony talks about that as no extra time, net time. And by the way, one thing we didn't even talk about now, and this is important, and we'll just touch on this briefly because we're out of time. You got to probably pull things out of your calendar too. Because, every time you want to everybody wants to add stuff in. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to add this. I'm going to read a book, read books. I'm going to whatever. All that stuff takes time. And so you got to look at what you're currently doing now and how you're spending your time. And then look at which of those things, do you need to let go of? Either because it's directly interfering with the positive intents that you have, or it's neutral. Or maybe it's even something that's like decent, but like you got to choose the best. And if there's one thing I can say, you got to realize that every minute you spend comes with an opportunity cost. And so if you're going to add in new things, make sure it has more value than what you're currently doing, and make sure that you make the room for it by reducing the things that you're doing that are kind of in the way of that. So, all right. Awesome, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Listen, I would love to hear how your 2026 is going. If there's anything Lifeonaire can do or Peter and I can do to help you achieve your goals, let us know. Be happy to book maybe a game plan call with you if you feel like you'd ever want to get some help, and maybe even get involved in Lifeonaire to a more significant degree other than you already are. But keep us posted on that. We'll put a link in the call description if you'd like to do that. And otherwise, guys, we will see you next week. Everyone let's rock out 2026. Make this awesome.